I come over here to my staging site, and if I look at his deployment story, you can see here that there's the last deployment was at 9:40 this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new deployment. So I'm going to come over here to my site. Come over here to my source control. I've got one thing ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and push it. So this will push it right up to GitHub. The push is done. Come over here to GitHub, and if I refresh this page, you can see here that I just pushed up 4 more commits in that one push. That was a merge. And if I come over here to Azure, what we'll see in a minute is there we go. Azure's been notified, and without me doing anything, it's doing a pull from GitHub. So I'm just sit here and wait for this to happen. Now, so what you can see now that it's doing is it's actually gotten the code, and now it's doing a compilation of the entire project. It's already copied everything over into the site. It's doing a compile. All right, now that we see that the code is deployed to my site, and I got to start up. I got to start up the production site. So let me come back over here, because you can't do a swap of a slot unless both slots are up and running. So I'll come over here to my production site, and you can see here that there's been no activity for a little while because we've had it shut off. So I'm going to come over here and I'll start this guy up. Got a little alert there that it was successfully started, so the site should be running now. I'm going to come over here and run a swap between the two, and so I'm swapping production with staging. But I'm doing staging with production. Now the order here doesn't really matter, because I can come over here to the staging site, and I can run a swap from him, and I can see source is staging, and I'm sending him to production. So either way, it doesn't really matter. So no warnings. That would just say if I've got any kind of settings that are going to go along with it. So here, I'll go ahead and click OK. It's going to swap. It's going to now put an alert there, so it's going to swap the slot. This can take anywhere from just a couple seconds to a minute or so. It really depends on all the code and all that stuff that's going on. We can see here that the slots are getting swapped. So if I come back over here to my site, I'm going to go to this site right here. I'm just going to tell it to restart, just to clear out any kind of a cache that it's got going. I come over here to my site, and then I should be able to hit my production andrewcollin.com site. It's coming back up now. You can see it's dub. He's all done. Let me show you something. If I come over here to my deployment slot, and I go over here to staging, and I look at staging's deployment story or deployment history, you see here that it doesn't have that latest deployment that we did just a minute ago. You see it's like 4 o'clock here, but it shows 10 o'clock. This is because this was the last deployment that I did to my production instance. So right now, staging is what production was. This will all get updated the next time I do a push to master, because master will update this. If I come over here to my development instance, you can see my development instance has had a bunch of updates as well to him. All of his were coming from the source. If for any reason one of these deployments gets out of whack, I can always come over here. I can select one of these deployments. You can see the details of all the stuff that happened. You can see like the deployment command. You can see all the stuff from the log of that what actually happened in the actual deployment. But I can also say, if I want to go back, I can click on redeploy, and that would redeploy the code base from this. If I want to force another sync of pulling the code from GitHub without having to go do another push, I can just click on sync, and it'll pull another deployment back from GitHub. It'll issue another pull from GitHub, just like if I had done a push. I can do this right now, like from deployment, because no changes have happened in deployment. So this is no big deal. It's just going to rerun this exact same one. So there we go. So you can see now it's starting to do the pull.